How does a young girl from a small Albanian town, with no wealth, no power, and no scientific inventions, rise to become one of the most admired women of the 20th century? How does she go from walking quietly through the slums of India to standing on the stage of the Nobel Peace Prize ceremony, recognized by the entire world? This is the story of Mother Teresa, a woman whose greatest invention was not a machine, but compassion. Early life. Agnes Bojaxiu. Mother Teresa was born Agnes Gynksa Bojaxiu in 1910 in Skopje, which was then part of the Ottoman Empire, today, North Macedonia. She was the youngest of 3 children in a deeply religious Catholic family. From the beginning, Agnes showed a remarkable sensitivity to the suffering of others. Her father died when she was just 8 years old, leaving her mother to raise the children. Despite their hardships, her mother always told her, "My child, never eat a single mouthful unless you are sharing it with others." This lesson of love and generosity stayed with Agnes for the rest of her life. By her teenage years, Agnes had already made up her mind. She wanted to become a missionary. She dreamed of India, a land she had only read about, but one where she knew there was immense poverty. The calling to religious life. At the age of 18, Agnes left her family forever and joined the Sisters of Loreto, an Irish community of nuns that had missions in India. She took the name Sister Teresa after Saint Teresa of Lisieux, the little flower who believed in doing small acts with great love. Her first mission brought her to Calcutta, now Kolkata, India, where she began teaching in a girls' school. Though she loved her work as a teacher, she could not ignore the suffering she saw all around her: children begging in the streets, families starving, and the sick abandoned to die alone. This experience planted a deeper question in her heart: was she really doing enough? The second calling. In 1946, while traveling by train to Darjeeling, Sister Teresa experienced what she called her call within a call. She later described it as a deep conviction from God that she was meant to leave the convent and go live among the poorest of the poor. It was a radical idea. Nuns usually lived in convents, separated from the harshness of street life. But Sister Teresa wanted to move right into the slums to eat what the poor ate, to sleep where they slept, and to serve them directly. After 2 years of seeking permission, she finally received approval. In 1948, she stepped out of her convent for the last time, wearing a simple white sari with a blue border. This humble dress would become her lifelong habit, symbolizing simplicity and service. The Missionaries of Charity. With no money, no buildings, and only her determination, Sister Teresa began her mission. She started by teaching poor children to read and write, using sticks to draw letters in the dirt. Soon, she opened a small school and then a home for the dying, where the abandoned could die with dignity and love. In 1950, she founded a new order, the Missionaries of Charity. Their vow was unusual: not only poverty, chastity, and obedience, but also a vow to give wholehearted free service to the poorest of the poor. Over the years, her sisters spread across India and then to other countries, running orphanages, schools, clinics, and homes for the sick and dying. Her radical compassion. What set Mother Teresa apart was not just her institutions, but her personal touch. She walked through the slums of Calcutta, often carrying food, medicines, or simply her own comforting presence. She would kneel down beside the sick, hold their hands, and look into their eyes with love. She did this even for lepers, patients suffering from one of the most feared and contagious diseases of her time. While others avoided them, she embraced them. She once said, "There are poor people everywhere, but the deepest poverty is not being loved." This message touched hearts worldwide. Global recognition. By the 1960s and 1970s, newspapers and television began reporting on Mother Teresa's work. They called her the Saint of the Gutters, a woman who gave dignity to those society had forgotten. Her fame spread, but she remained humble. When she was awarded the Nobel Peace Prize in 1979, she accepted it not for herself, but for the poor she served. In her speech, she urged people everywhere to do simple acts of kindness with love. Her words echoed her lifelong philosophy: There are many people who can do big things, but there are very few people who will do the small things. Final years and legacy. Mother Teresa continued her work tirelessly for decades, despite declining health. She passed away in 1997 at the age of 87, mourned by millions around the world. In 2016, the Catholic Church officially canonized her as Saint Teresa of Calcutta. But for most people, she was already a saint in life. Her greatest lesson was simple yet profound. You don't need to be rich, brilliant, or powerful to change the world. Sometimes, the most extraordinary impact comes from the smallest acts of love. The lesson for us. Thomas Edison taught us the value of persistence. Alfred Nobel taught us the importance of legacy. And Mother Teresa teaches us the power of compassion, of doing the small things with great love.